what's on the horizon for 2025. You know, this we have a new president that just the inauguration is going on today. This is not a political post. This is a business post, so leave the politics to yourself. Just share the information out amongst the network. We're talking about business. We're talking about government contracting. I'm going to share what I believe are the priorities for this administration in government contracting for the next 90 days at minimum, and where I see the greatest expenditures going, where I believe is going to be a priority for the government for spending based upon what he said in his speech this morning, and where I believe that if you're a strategic business person, you will be focusing your efforts this morning. I'm also answering questions in government contracting, in business. So guess what? I've been in business for 10, 15 years, and I'm just sharing the wealth, sharing the knowledge. So spread the wealth, spread the love, and let everybody know that we're live and we're sharing some information. I will also, sorry guys, let you guys know about an upcoming training that I'm doing on March 6th here in the Queen City of Charlotte. Hey everybody, where I am hosting an in-person event. That event will be unlocking government contracting. It's in-person, full-day event, and you want to be in the room. Oh my God, I've been in government contracting for 20 years. I'm a compliance officer. I teach you from the perspective of the audit. So when you come here and you come to me, we talk about it. We train from the perspective of the audit. We have contracting plans, and that's what we're talking about, planning and government contracting. So let's get this party started. As we know, a new administration was sworn in today. I don't care what you think about the administration politically. We're talking about business. We're talking about government contracting. That is what we're talking about. Keep the political posts and political fights on your platform today. We're talking about business and we're talking about government contracting. So, based upon his speech this morning, is where I'm thinking his greatest efforts are going for the first 90 days in office. Now, he's already said he's going to issue several executive orders straight off the bat. I'm going to look at them. I go live every morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for contracting chatter. Chatter, we talk about legislation, we talk about upcoming laws, we talk about government contracting. So join me 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you're not up early that in the morning, if you live in a different time zone, you can catch all of the replays on my YouTube channel, LT&A Consulting Group. Join my YouTube channel, and I really want to do a shout out for a moment to my YouTube followers for getting me to 100 followers. I appreciate you guys. For the rest of you guys, if you're not up that early, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you know what? Hit that notification bell so when I go live, you know, I do impromptu lives all the time. You will know when they do the State of the Union address. I always go live, and I always go live on my YouTube account. Anytime the inauguration, I'm live. Anytime the October 1st, that is the first day of the government fiscal year. I always do a Happy New Year's, welcome to the official opening of the government contracting year. on my YouTube channel. If I don't go live anywhere else, I go live on that channel. So guess what? Follow me. My TikTok followers, if you're interested in business, business compliance, business strategy, government contracting, you want to follow my YouTube channel because who knows what's going on with TikTok. So give a like, give a follow over on YouTube. You'll never regret it. With that said, one of the things we're going to talk about is some of the priorities that the president stated that he had in his opening address. Excuse me. And he spoke about a golden age for the country. What he meant by that was a return to being proud, free, and prosperous. Whatever you think about that, walk with me a little further. He talked about he's going to issue several executive orders declaring a national emergency around the southern borders. Government contracts around border security. If you have a security company, if you do any type of counseling, if you do translation work, those are government contracts that are going to be flowing because of his desire or because of his stated need or status, because of his statement that he is going to declare that national emergency along the border. Excuse me, I am trying to share the live over on Facebook. Another thing he talked about, he's reinstituting his Remain in Mexico. If you have now I remember when he had the Stay in Mexico order before, there were a lot of social programs or social agencies who had contracts that issued aid to any person that was affected by the Stay in Mexico order. They provided health care, food, anything of that nature to those who stayed in Mexico. So if you're in business and you're looking to, if you're a nonprofit and that is your bread and butter, you want to keep an eye out for those services. If you're looking for government contracts in that area, tents, food, blankets, that Stay in Mexico order is going to do an uptick on delivery, logistics, anything of that nature. You're going to see a lot of government contracts along those lines. While I'm talking, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. You can DM me. I have mods that'll see it. I always go back in the stream and relook at it, and then I'll do another live to answer any questions that I may have missed. So keep that in mind. So his declaring a national emergency around the southern border is important as far as you're doing social work and anything like that, if you're providing security. He's reinstating catch and release, once again, security contracts. Cartels as foreign terrorists, somebody's going to say, how does that relate to government contracts? If you offer leadership training, and somebody's going to say, how does that relate to leadership? I'm getting ready to tell you how. There's going to be a need to retrain current personnel around how to handle people caught in this web. There's going to be a need for counseling of people caught in this web. There's going to be a need to provide services to people, because a lot of people are going to be confused about what was announced. There's going to be a lot of fear-mongering, people putting out false information, people putting out confused information. These are all government contracts. because the state level and the city level are going to have to issue contracts to companies to come in and say, look, this affects all of you. This affects everybody. So this is what we need you to do. We need you to come help us process these people. Once again, if you speak multiple languages, they're going to need your assistance. You have people who are going to say, look, I'm going to try to apply for asylum. They're going to need people to walk them through the process. These are all government contracts. Then you're going to have people who are like, okay, I need to up my skills because I want to stay here. There's an organization here in Charlotte who actually helps people who are from the Middle East, Israel, and the areas affected by current conflicts. Obtain skills, and they not only obtain skills, but they also acclimate to the U.S. I had never heard of that before. And usually they just come here and get dumped. That's a potential contract. But all of these services are going to be needed to underpin these initiatives that are coming through. So however you land politically, these are services that are going to be needed. These are services that every agency are going to need to, they're not going to hire government employees. So who's going to do the work? Government contractors. Think about that. Everybody wants small government, but that doesn't mean the work isn't going to get done. That means they're going to retain government contractors to do the work. There's a lot of work around the Department of Defense. They're not going to get more recruits to go into the military. He even announced that the recruits that were terminated because of the COVID mandate, they didn't want to take the vaccine, so they were dishonorably discharged, where they're going to be returned to service. Somebody's going to have to help process the paperwork, track these people down, help them re-enlist if they want to re-enlist, go through the paperwork, help them and they're going to be given back pay. So that's a government contract to go through all of that. That's civilian personnel that handles that, and it's usually a government contractor. Do you see where I'm going? So in the next 90 days, 90 to 180 days, there are going to be contracts issued. Are you contract ready? Last week, I had a contracting and business week where I was talked about getting your business together, asking and assessing your business. Are you contracting ready? Once you answer that question, were you power partnering with your staff, with the contracting officers, with primes and subs? We went all through that. Were you compliant? Did you have policies and procedures? All of these things together, because I knew from different things he said during his campaign, he was going to come in and he was coming in hard. With all these executive orders he's saying he's signing, we can see an uptick in contracts. Because guess what? He's creating this whole new cabinet to streamline the government. Okay, but the work still is going to need to be done. But who's going to do the work? Government contractors. You see where I'm going? The work doesn't go away because you create a smaller government. It just changes who does the work. Government contractors. If you perform any type of statistical assessment, I I would keep an eye out for work in the treasury, anything with cabinet. I would work out IRS. He's talking about creating, if you do work in energy, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're trying to do work with the Department of Energy, you really need your back end straight. Department of Energy does not play, and they have their own security clearance. And because he's talking about filling the national reserves again, because he's talking about making our country energy efficient, because he's talking about backing out of the revoking the green initiative and some other things, the Department of Energy is going to be hit hard. So if you do any type of work around energy, I would look for contracts around the Department of Energy. That is something that I would tell you to look hard at. And even on top of that, you need to prepare for. Department of Energy has a certain set of rules in addition to. And some contracts with them requires you to have a clearance, and they have their own clearance process that is different from the secret TS, SCI, and all of that stuff. So you want to be prepared when you pursue those contracts. As I said, my name is Luciana Turner. I'm the founder of the LT&A Consulting Group. We provide government contracting, consulting, and training services. I'm just talking about some of the projections I see from the new administration based upon what he said during his speech this morning during the inauguration. And whatever you think politically, this is the administration you're dealing with for the next 4 years. And there were a lot of business nuggets. There were a whole lot of business nuggets that he gave during his speech. Now, I do know he's trying to keep TikTok. Those of you running businesses off of TikTok, create a strategic plan that includes diversification. I'm speaking to my TikTokers right now. Hold on, everybody else. As you saw, when TikTok went dark, a lot of businesses went offline. And you had no plan B, C, E, F, G. Create a plan. You have followers. I see accounts on here with 10,000, a million followers. You're selling your stuff. You seem to be doing great, but you should never depend upon a social media platform. You should always, and this is for everybody, have a means of contacting your client, followers, whomever, even if every social media platform went offline. You should be able to send out an email. You should be able to pick up the phone and call them. So to my TikTokers, my creators, my shop owners, create a plan that requires diversification. Collect some emails. For those of you who are following me, go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe there so you can continue to create, continue to get my content. Once you are over there, you can join my mailing list. You see how that works? Join my mailing list. For those of you who are interested in working with me, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Those of you who are interested in working with me, booking a session, just, I dropped in the chat, and I'll figure out what's going on with my streaming servers in a minute. I dropped in my chat, and one of my mods over on TikTok will do the same if I don't beat them to it. I just dropped my booking calendar. Book a session. On my booking calendar, you can also join my mailing list. See how simple that is? TikTok, whoever. You should never rely on one social media platform. So no matter what happens to TikTok, your business will not lose its momentum. That is a message for my TikTokers. Well, let's continue on with projections for the calendar year. Okay. Now, he did say he was doing an overhaul of the trade system. The Department of Logistics is held out of Department of Human Services is going to need, it's going to issue some government contracts and contracts as well. I can't remember which one has logistics, but I know Department of Transportation does. But there's another agency on the federal level, and when they had issue contracts, they also set aside money that flows down to the state. I can't remember the name of it offhand. I see them issuing contracts, and I see those contracts flowing down to the state level. Because of the reinstitution of catch and release, or the getting rid of catch and release, and they're mobilizing on the state level, and deporting on the state level. I see government contracts on the state level on the humanitarian side. So social services, the humanities, if you do anything along those lines, there's going to be a lot of government contracts coming your way soon. Now, he said something about an external revenue service. So I don't know how that's going to play. So if you do anything with finance, financial reporting, if you do anything with financial collections, that's a government contract in and of itself for a new service. So if you do anything with implementation of systems, I would keep my eye out. If you do anything with the school systems, I would actually position myself to start pitching to school systems. I really would. I would start pitching to school systems right now for an overhaul or to help them fine tune or tweak their whole delivery, just based off of some things he said this afternoon. If you do any type of corporate training, and his move and his desire to go back to merit-based hiring. However, we don't want to ignore the fact that there's a tendency to say, this person's a little too old, a little too young. There's a way to do merit-based and be conscious of there's still some biases that exist in our system. So if you are a DEI specialist, one, I would do a rebrand. And two, I would tweak all of my offerings to work in this new environment. Because people are moving away from the DEI name, but they're not moving away from the DEI goals, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Most companies are not doing away with DEI. They're doing away with the name. So if you're offering DEI services, just call it something else. Matter of fact, DEI has been around for a long time. They just didn't call it that. So what were they calling it in the 80s? Pick that name back up again, offer the same services and keep rolling. A lot of people are stressing themselves out for no reason. Same services, different name. Or just be creative in this environment. You get where I'm going? There's no need to act like your contracts are going to disappear. Now, TikTok, I do have a live goal for those of you who are listening. I would appreciate it if y'all tap the screen to maintain the integrity of the live. I have a live goal. I'm not pressing you guys out, but it would be nice. For the rest of you, for everybody, if you have anybody you know in business, in government contracting, who are just looking at what's going on and saying, I don't know what to do. Bring them to this live. Tag them in this live and say, I know somebody who's going to be the answer to your how. Because the question a lot of people are asking is, how am I going to survive the next 4 years? And the answer to how is who, and I am your who. On March 6th, I am offering a masterclass on unlocking government contracting. I am also offering another masterclass on sustainable business growth. We're talking about sustainable revenue. I don't care what you're going through. If you plan your revenue correctly, you can weather the storm. March 6th is unlocking government contracting. I'm going to have to come back to you with a date on the other one because I haven't secured a location. I don't want to give out a date and it's the wrong date and we have to change it. But if anybody have any questions on business or government contracting, drop the questions in the chat. I want to answer. I am here to be an answer. As long as it's not a political question, I'll answer it. Now, he said he wanted to build a strong military. If I was a life coach, mindset coach, leadership coach, health and wellness coach, I would be packaging my services and pitching it to DOD. Because strong military includes mental, physical, spiritual, all of that. So that's me. Now, I've heard something about them trying to do a Mars expedition. He brought this up. I don't know what all this is about, but that means they're kicking NASA back up. So if you're in research, that's some serious dollars there. If you're into research, if they're talking about the revitalizing or breathing new life into NASA, then I would tell you, dust off your credentials and be on the lookout. But I want to say this. No matter what services you offer, no matter what you think politically of this new administration, I'm talking to you from a business perspective. Everything I speak is from a business perspective purely. So hear me when I tell you this. Business-wise, if you want to obtain one of the grants or one of the government contracts that are going to be coming forth within the next 90 to 180 days, you want to ensure that you have performed a business assessment. If you have not done so, you need to do so. If you don't know how, I have placed my booking calendar in the chat. Book a session with me. You need to have a strong foundation. Attempting to obtain a government contract and you are not stable, solid, is a mistake. You don't want to win the contract and then lose the award. It is possible to win the contract and not pass a desk audit. It is possible to win a contract, not go through a desk audit, but fail to perform because you do not have the proper systems in place. These are the things I'm talking about. If you are a mid-sized company and you're already in contracting, but you do fixed price, and now you're going after cost plus. It's a different world when you're doing cost plus. You still must bid appropriately. Now that you're going after cost plus, the audit radar is different. In fixed price, they usually do the review on the front end. Cost plus, they audit you later. And what I'm telling you, when they come after you later, it's years after the fact. If your records aren't straight, the penalties and interest is enough to shake the foundations of your business. Do you know why there's a 90% failure rate after companies graduate from the LT&A program? Because they don't have a solid strategy when they enter LT&A. LT&A is a government certification program. They spend half of their years in LT&A floundering, then they figure it out, fumble, try to rely on their certifications, which is all of the other ones. Then they try to get in mentor protege, thinking they can mentor their way through, and then they fumble their mentorship program. I have a podcast episode, Contractors Conversation. It's on Spotify, and I'm getting ready to record a new episode on mentorship. They fumble their mentors. Then they limp their way out of that, and then they fail because they did not have a strong foundation. And nobody wants their baby to fail, and your business is your baby. Take the time and form a firm foundation. Don't try to put a 2,000 square foot house on a 600 square foot foundation. It doesn't work. Do not try to take a 5,000 square foot luxury house and put it on a 125 square foot home. It doesn't work. Take the time and build it right. You'll get all of, if you're focused on proposal writing, you're trying to jump to the middle. No. You need to do the beginning. That's just like trying to put plumbing in an outhouse. No, it don't belong in the outhouse. You need to have all the systems so that when you go to write the proposal, you see, if you had the policies and the procedure, it makes the proposal writing easier. When you have the policies and the procedures, then you have your bid rates so that it's easy to draft the budget so that you're competitive. Because the government already knows how much it costs to do the job. They're just looking for somebody who's going to come in and say, I can do it. Here am I. Just raise your hand. Here am I. I'm present. I am the how. I am the who to your how. And you're going to keep hearing me saying that. A lot of people want to know how, and I'm your who. I stated in my book, Keys to Government Contracting, you always want to present yourself as the penicillin. But a lot of you are presenting yourself as aspirin. And you're not in an aspirin situation. Aspirin has its place. You take a baby aspirin to maintain, but you can't maintain something you never stabilized in the first place. So get some stabilization there. While I'm talking, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'll get your questions in and I'll answer them. But build a strong foundation. Then you can actually put up some walls and put some plumbing in and have the wires. And then you can put the fancy marble on and all that other stuff. But you want to put marble in and you don't even have anything to put the marble on. and then you want to put up these fancy chandeliers, but what are you hanging the chandeliers from? And that's exactly what you're doing when you want to jump to the proposal writing and you haven't done anything else. There are a lot of opportunities in government contracting. A lot. But you can only capitalize and grow when you stabilize your company, when you develop that firm foundation. And I'm here to tell you, government math is worse than Common Core. And when they get to calculating penalties and interest for doing stuff wrong, they don't want to hear about what you didn't know because you should have took time to learn it. That is what contracting chatter is for. That is what contractors community for. That is my monthly service, $97 a month. If you pay in full, you get 2 months free. You join that. I issue not only a newsletter, but I do a monthly training. $97 a month. Can't beat that. You don't get a 20-year government compliance person for $97 a month to teach you government contracting. And access to my contractor's library that has so much richness in it. Has all of my other trainings in it. Now, I just did Contracting and Business Week. All of those videos are coming down Wednesday. They're going into the training center with the accompanying workbooks. Now, if you go into the training center alone, you have to pay, I think it's $97 to watch the training and have the workbooks. But if you're in the contractors community, you get the workbooks. If you're just willing to go all in, you can join my mastermind. That's an investment. But in that, we build out your strategy for the year. We build out a contracting plan. And we have quarterly reassessments of the plan with monthly check-ins, along with the trainings that drop, along with access to the Trainers University, along with VIP seeing at all of my trainings. So every time I come up with a masterclass, like the one on March 6th, that's $197. Because you're in the mastermind, you automatically get a seat. And for those of you who's like, look, I don't want to do anything monthly. I don't want to do anything a year long. I want to come in, 90 days, tell me what I need to do, and I'm going to do it. We have the accelerator that has rolling admission. And in the accelerator, I teach you, one, how to create the contracting plan, and two, I also teach you how to decode the RFP. A lot of you are misreading the request for the proposal. Therefore, you're generating a non-compliant proposal. You're not answering the questions, so you're not winning. I said it on a live before, and I'm going to say it again. You're writing hello beautiful proposals, and nobody wants to read that because we don't even want to see it in our inboxes. So with that, if anybody have any questions for me, drop them in a live. If not, you can catch the replay. TikTok, I think I'm going to post this live on my business page at LTACG. If not, go to my YouTube channel, LTA Consulting Group. Matter of fact, I'm not going to do that. Go to my website, my YouTube channel, LTA Consulting Group. You can catch the replay if you missed it. I talked about, I took the speech that President Trump, now that he's been sworn in, he gave this morning, and I said, this is what I'm seeing the contracts for the next 90 to 180 days are going to look like. Now, he has some executive orders he's getting ready to issue, and those executive orders are going to steer the contracts some more. However you land politically, You have a fiduciary responsibility to yourself and your business to put all that to the side and make the best decision for your business. And business-wise, government contracting-wise, you're going to see a lot popping. And you want to be in the midst of it all. You can really scale your business from 0 to millions if you follow the dollars. And for those of you who already have stable businesses who are trying to diversify revenue, during COVID, government contractors never shut down. Keep that in mind. So with that, I'm going to close my live. I may go live again later. Probably not, because I have a class later on and I need to cook for the kiddies. But you need to walk through government contracting. You need to stabilize your business. Book a session with me. I'll help you. Go into any of my profiles, go to my link tree, purchase one of my books, Keys to Government Contracting, or you can get my ebook, Stages of Government Contracting. Great way to start at ground zero. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, Belle, for Contracting Chatter. Is back 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And more than likely, he's probably going to sign some more executive orders tonight, hopefully. And we'll talk about those tomorrow. If not, we'll talk about them before the end of the week. And I'm going live Friday at 9 a.m. New podcast episode. We're talking about being a caregiver. We're talking about caregiver fatigue from the perspective of a business owner. And I'm doing this podcast episode live, so you want to check that out. So with that, I'm logging off. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Have an amazing day.